Viewers, after the Supreme Court watered down the ban on bursting crackers on Diwali, Spiritualist Sadhguru has said that he isn't in favor of children being deprived of the pleasure of having some fun on Diwali. Let them burst crackers, he says. Sadhguru's comments have naturally triggered a massive debate. For a while now, anti-pollution activists have called for an absolute ban on crackers. They have pointed out that the bursting of crackers on Diwali leads to a spike in pollution levels, triggering a whole host of health problems, especially for people who have pre-existing ailments like asthma, and more recently, among those recovering from COVID. Naturally, these environmentalists and anti-pollution lobbyists are raging today that someone with the power and influence of Sadhguru has virtually given a carte blanche to burst crackers. Now, viewers, there might be a large number of people out there who resent the ban. And when they look upon Sadhguru and see that he has given them, in a sense, a rationale, they might go ahead and challenge the ban on bursting crackers. Now, first listen to Sadhguru, viewers, as he puts the reasoning in a context. Listen to him.
I have not lit a cracker in quite a few years, but when I was a child, how much it meant. From the month of September, we'll be dreaming crackers. And after Diwali is over, next 1-2 months, we will save the crackers and keep on doing it every day. Let not people who are suddenly environmentally active say no child should have crackers. This is not a good way to go. All those people who are concerned about pollution in the air, polluting the air, you can do one thing as your sacrifice for the children so the children can enjoy. Adults can stop the crackers. And for that 3 days, you walk to your office, don't drive your car. Let children have the fun of bursting crackers.
Make up in other areas, but allow the children to have their fun. As I said, Sadhguru's comments have invited derision from environmentalists. Here's what I mean, viewers, as well as, of course, opposition politicians, those, of course, who oppose the BJP at the center, have all come out and spoken. Listen.
त्योहार को, पटाखों को धर्म से जोड़ करके और अपनी राजनीतिक महत्वाकांक्षा के लिए इस प्रदूषण की लड़ाई को कमजोर करने की भी कोशिश कर रहे हैं। मेरी उन लोगों से भी हाथ जोड़ करके विनती है, दिल्ली वालों के बच्चों की जिंदगी से मत खेलिए अपनी राजनीति के लिए।
The pollution that comes out of crackers is deadly. And never mind which politician and which Swami or which priest tells us that, cracking, bursting crackers on Diwali is a fundamental right. It is not. In fact, the whole idea of bursting crackers is a very recent phenomenon. In the past, we never did this in Diwali. So if you want to celebrate traditional Diwali, it's best not to burst crackers and light as many lamps as you want.
Were pollution levels so high earlier? Mr. Jaggi Vasudev seems not to comprehend the gravity of the situation. At least if we are not asking for a full ban, there obviously has to be a reduction in crackers, usage of crackers. How can someone even say no to it?
Well, viewers, to be fair to Sadhguru, he hasn't linked religion to this issue at all. He has also, viewers, at no point said that bursting of crackers is a fundamental right. So on both those counts, he isn't guilty. And before we consign Sadhguru's views to the rubbish heap, let's at least objectively analyze the facts. Let's begin by asking a simple question. Are crackers and Diwali the only contributors to pollution? What if no crackers were burst on Diwali? Would there be No hazardous spikes in air quality. Well, the hard facts, and viewers, here on India Upfront, we always bring you the hard facts to bring you closer to the truth, so you are better equipped to argue a particular case. So what do these hard facts tell us? Well, they don't suggest that if we burst crackers, then there would be no pollution. Even before a cracker has been lit, the air quality in most of North India is dangerously off the charts. Let's look at the data, viewers. It's coming up on your screens. There you can see. And let's go one by one. Now look at some of the places. Wazirpur, which is in Delhi, 310. Now viewers, if you have to have good air quality, ambient air quality, it must be in the region of 50, at most 100. That's the uppermost limit. Look at Kota in Rajasthan. Viewers, let's go one by one. Wazirpur, Delhi, AQI 310, hazardous. No crackers have been burst. Hisar, AQ 254, very unhealthy. Again, this is all before. This is all before. Let's go back to that map, Nizam Bhai. I want people to see where the pollution levels are as of today. Ludhiana 154, unhealthy. Bhiwani 212, very unhealthy. Noida 229, very unhealthy. Ghaziabad 190, unhealthy. Kota viewers in Rajasthan 408, hazardous. Lucknow AQI 188, unhealthy. Faridabad AQI 197, unhealthy. Manesar 217, viewers, very unhealthy. So you can look at the map. All those yellow areas are in the north. Here, viewers, the air quality is hazardous, unhealthy, very unhealthy. No Diwali, no crackers. So if not crackers, then what's behind the spiking pollution levels? Here's a look at a graphics that has been prepared, viewers, by a very well-known non-profit organization that looks at this particular area. And let's pull out the Council on Energy, Environment and Water, commonly known as CEEW, a Delhi-based not-for-profit policy research institution that has done an evaluation on a pie chart, viewers, from where the pollution is coming. Notice how the biggest contributor to pollution are open fires, transport, household heating, and road dust. Let's go over these. Open fires, 31.4%. 31.4%, viewers, open fires. And I'm talking about open fires like the ones that are raging in at least 3 North Indian states today, where parali or stubble, paddy stubble, is being burnt. Now that's not certainly linked to Diwali, viewers. In fact, because of the delayed monsoon and the delayed retreat of the monsoon, the entire north has been spared of spikes much earlier. Otherwise, by now, we would have all been in a gas chamber. Road dust, 12.3%. Transport, 13.7%. Household heating, 13%, viewers. Waste burning, 8.7%. Emissions from power plants, 7.4%. And we're talking about 2.5. 2.5. This is important. This is very, very important. And let me also tell you, viewers, that all of this means that our focus might be slightly off. That Diwali crackers are not the only contributors. The Supreme Court recently overturned Calcutta High Court order that imposed a blanket ban on firecrackers. And the details are there. Viewers, let me also tell you, even as we speak, and let's put out the breaking news on one side, a bit of a Diwali bonanza for all of us. What we are being told is petrol prices are going to be reduced by ₹5, diesel by ₹10. So viewers, as we were struggling with pollution and price rise, the two demons, at least on one front, there has been some reprieve. So that's a big move, and we'll keep that breaking news on air for you to keep referring to it. But I really want to open this up, viewers, this conversation about Diwali crackers, viewers, important, and the link to pollution. Since the hard facts have told you that pollution is happening even without bursting of crackers, are Diwali crackers being made a scapegoat? Now I want to go straight across to Shubhrashtra, author and founder of The Churn, and Mohandas Pai, RN Capital Partners chairman. I want to bring them in. First to you, Shubhrashtra. Why do you believe that someone like Sadhguru is perhaps in the right and should be actually supported? Why do you believe this?
Rahul, a very happy Diwali to you,
Thank
your
you,
viewers, the entire family of Times Now. Look, Rahul, I would want to say certain things which might not seem very popular at the moment, especially in the circles that we roam around in. Look, I think for far too long, this entire campaign on social media with respect to every Hindu festival being, pulled down by one community or the other in the name of either environmental activism or human rights, etc., it had to be called out for the simple reason that the sentiments are no longer that of a common minority on social media. If somebody like Sadhguruji is stepping in, please understand that it has larger implications. Why is it that prior to every Hindu festivity, we have all these different kinds of activism in one form or the other that rage and try to teach us a lesson? Somebody who are a community which is a part of thousands and eons of age-old civilization to tutor us all of a sudden as to how should we celebrate festivals. Now, Rahul, if they were to bring about some very imaginative and creative modes of how to celebrate Diwali and why not to celebrate it in a particular way that we have been doing it traditionally, it would have made sense. But to talk about environmental activism, sitting in an air-conditioned room, and I'm really, I don't want to sound hypocritical. Right now also when I'm sitting, at some point in time, the AC would be on in the night. At the other point in time, we would be putting on geysers to take a bath, such is the season. Yeah. So I'm nobody who is going to tutor tomorrow, to tutor a 15-year-old and 16-year-old as to how to celebrate Deepawali. If I were to take responsibility of environmental activism, the first thing I should stop doing is stop using geyser and air conditioners. Stop using start using as much of public transport as possible. So it's very convenient for me to demand all kinds of elitist luxuries to myself, but deprive the future generation from celebrating things that have been done traditionally. It's a very, very simple logic, Rahul.
Also, it does hurt. You're right, Shubhrashtra, it does hurt because, I was reading something about New York and how this time in New York, there's going to be a massive fireworks display to mark Diwali as a tribute to the Indian community. And here, of course, there is a different debate going on. And I'm not saying, viewers, for a moment that Diwali bursting crackers is not adding to the spike, but it's a 3-day at best event. The point is that pollution grips us here in the north because of various climatic weather-related changes much harder, not because of crackers, but because of a lot of activities that you and I do on a daily basis, viewers. So Sadhguru may not be making a point that should be laughed off. That's what I think Shubhrashtra is saying. She's being responsible. Yes.
Rahul, one small this thing, I love my diamonds, and I know that every diamond that I wear comes with a certain degree of, and it takes a lot of toll on the environment to create a small diamond. I'm not going to deprive myself of that luxury. It also adds to the GDP of my economy every Diwali when I go to shop. It adds to the GDP as well. My only urge is please let me celebrate my festival my way. If you feel really important about environmental activism, then stop living in all those fancy concrete houses which have centralized air conditioning. Stop dining out in 5-star hotels, and by the way, hosting most of these festivities and creating all these ads in extremely sanitized environments. Stop doing that.
Okay.
Start living a life of come to Northeast India. Northeast India has one of the most, pollution-free, organic ways of life. Start living life like that, man. You can't be sitting around in Delhi and Bombay and explaining.
You can't drive that SUV. Yeah. You can't purchase that SUV, fill it up with diesel, which, as you know, viewers, is a killer fuel.
Rahul.
Even scooters, two-wheelers, viewers, that use 2T oil, etc., are killers. And I've shown you the figures. The pie chart is there for you to see where the pollution is coming. Mohandas Pai. Yes, Rahul, go ahead.
Rahul, for too long, people have been running this fake narrative, assaulting our culture. There is no medical evidence to say busting crackers on Diwali hurts children's health. I think Dr. Bagai is there. He can possibly talk to us. Second, we had that Leo Saldana say that, crackers are a recent phenomena. I am past 60. For 55 years, I got a memory of busting crackers. And I read that Aurangzeb tried to ban crackers by Hindus during Diwali. Some rubbish these people talk and create fake narrative. There are the Delhi minister to say you're playing with children's health. What is he doing as the minister about the burning of crops around Delhi? What is he doing? Why is he playing this politics? Why is one community being targeted? Now, the IIT has given a study to say that crackers do not have anything much to do with pollution. The Supreme Court, one judge says, I'm not bothered, I know about it. What if the Supreme Court judge or any judge know the technical details? Let us look at science and technology. And lastly, Rahul, everybody believes crackers are polluting. Let us set standards for the use of crackers. To say crackers should not exceed so-and-so in terms of output, what they do. Don't ban crackers. What is about 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening? Why is the Supreme Court telling us 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening? Are they going to tell us 2 hours in the morning you can eat, 2 hours in the evening you cannot eat? What kind of restrictions are these, Rahul? I mean, these are very bad. They're all fake narratives run by these people.
Let's get the other side in.
Evidence.
Okay, let's get Nizam Bhai. Let's keep the breaking news up there of the pump prices that are now going to charge on one particular graphic. Let's pull them out because this is an important development. I don't want viewers who are watching Times Now to be oblivious to the fact that from tomorrow they will be paying less for their fuel. So that's important and we should keep that up there. But this debate is fascinating and I want to go across to Dr. Bagai, who's a doctor, of course, of renown, Chairman Nephron, Vimlendu Jha, environmentalist. Let's get two of them to give their perspectives. Dr. Bagai, are we scapegoating Diwali firecrackers irrationally? That's the question I'm asking you.
Good evening, Rahul. Good evening, everyone. I think we need to break it up into two or three different segments. So there are the entire aspect of pollution, of course, is multifactorial. It's not one particular thing. But the question is, if the house is already burning, let's not put more petrol into it to let it burn more. So multiple wrongs don't allow another wrong to happen. So let me put some medical facts for you. Now, the crackers contain materials of 19 different types, which are primarily potassium nitrate, 15% charcoal, 75% potassium nitrate, 10% sulfur, which we call as gunpowder. It also contains phosphorus, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, methane, and hydrofluorocarbons, volatile organic compounds, which are all carcinogenic. Routinely, these kind of things are huge triggers which remain suspended in the air apart from particulate matter for days and weeks after that. Now the question is, we are in the winter time, there is smog, that is fog and smoke smog. This causes acid rain which is invisible, it causes huge amount of organ damage, and there are 19 different organs which are damaged, including mainly the respiratory tract, the brain, the cardiac, the mental health, hearing, skin burns, allergies. It in fact even involves and it damages the developing fetus inside, causes infertility. These are all non-tangible, what we call as invisible killers. Now we know that the huge global burden of air pollution, one of the triggers can be crackers, which it is. We see clinically a huge increase of asthma, bronchitis, breathing difficulty, hypertension, arrhythmias in clinical practice practiced for a few days, even up to a week after Diwali.
Okay.
The question is, this pollution as a trigger, which is the festival of Diwali, can be without crackers. Now this green crackers is only 20% lesser pollution. But really the question is, why should we pay price of prosperity or religion or one man's fun for society damage and generations later to suffer?
That's a
my
holistic
submission.
point of view.
I think we can have a beautiful Diwali without crackers, with diya.
Okay, we can have diya Diwali. Forget the crackers. 1 minute, I'll come out to you, Shubhrashtra. I've opened also the lines for our viewers, dedicated Times Now's viewers, who I'm thanking for watching this show on a day when you should be out celebrating. O.P. Swaminathan calling in from Bengaluru first. Mr. Swaminathan, go ahead. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Rahul, it has become a fashion in our country to target the majority community. For example, they banned the this thing in UP, but didn't have the guts to ban things in Kerala. And one city is completely ruined because of this cracker ban, that is Shivagasi. And then third point, if you are so concerned about pollution, as your graphic shows, more than 60% is due to factors other than crackers.
That is true.
Close the petrol pump for 1 week before Diwali and allow crackers to be burst in some open areas, not in residential areas. So that will get these problems.
So don't scapegoat one particular cultural expression. That's the opinion coming on from Mr. Swaminathan. I'll bring you in, Rahul Ishwar. I'll bring you in. I'm just opening this up further. Raj Pillai also calling in from Bengaluru. Thank you, Mr. Pillai. Go ahead with your point of view.
Hi, Rahul. Good evening, and good to see you bringing us such issues, which definitely needs a good discussion.
Thank you, sir.
I would put it this way, that I think we are not reading into what Sadhguru has said. I think we are missing the wood for the forest. He has mentioned about the plain joy of the children. He is not advocating for the crackers.
Yeah.
He's only saying, don't take away the plain joy of the children. Now, as far as pollution is concerned, there is a macro and a micro issue. Now, I can tell you, and you'll be amazed, that India produces more than 300 million tons of cement annually. Every ton of cement we produce 1 ton of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Is anybody bothered about it? No. Because these are the industries nobody would talk about. The pollution in Delhi or in the north from the two-wheeler, if you check on a regular basis, on a daily basis, the sulfur dioxide content on a daily basis, it's alarming, but nobody would talk about it. Just because Sadhguru has mentioned, in his own typical style of not taking away the fun from the children, I think everybody is trying to give the gyan, and some people are...
Well, look, I mean, you're right, Mr. Pillai. There are a large number of Indians such as you. Ninad is calling in from Vadodara. I'm going to bring Ninad in just a few seconds. But viewers, you and I know that this is a perennial problem. It strikes North India at a particular time. Yes, you can say it peaks over Diwali for a day or two, and then the peak continues. But that's not just because of Diwali. That peak continues because of a host of other factors, including the burning of stubble, which contributes, by the graphic that I put out, around 30%. If I'm not mistaken, Nizam Bhai, if you can just put that graphic out again. 30%, yeah, open fires, 31.4% to the pollution. No one will curtail farmers. It will curtail the children, according to Sadhguru, but not the farmers, not the Kisan. Let me bring in Ninad. Ninad, go ahead, please. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Rahul. So just to start by, Sadhguru is a person who has been campaigning for the rivers under the campaigns like Rally for Rivers, Kaveri Calling. He has a project running like Project Green Hands,
yes,
which has received national and international accreditation. Now, to a person who is working such relentlessly for the environment, even the United Nations is recognizing that.
True.
Such people who don't even want to give away the comforts of their AC homes are commenting about him and every other person who is standing for this. This is just to put down a culture, slowly, steadily to kill it down. So nothing else. This is
well, articulate speakers tonight amongst our viewers. Because I told you, the hard facts are out there for you to see, and I always put out the hard facts on India Upfront so that you have reason-based opinion. I want to go to Dr. Vasant from Mysuru, and then I want to go across to Rahul Ishwar, and I also want to bring in Vimlendu Jha and Devi Goenka. So, Dr. Vasant, good evening. Over to you there in Mysuru. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Rahul. Yeah, thank you. I would like to tell you, I'm 100% supporting Sadhguru, because see, IIT Kanpur has done a research.
Yes.
On the top 12 reasons for Delhi and surrounding air pollution. What is the reasons for Delhi and surrounding areas? There is no mention of crackers in that actually. That means it is more of burning those by agriculture, industries and vehicles. Those are the which main causes the pollution of the air surrounding the Delhi and other areas.
Okay.
And one more thing I would like to tell you is just beef meat, to prepare 1 kg of beef meat, around it produces 300 kg of carbon dioxide. When compared to cracker, it is nothing. And crackers produces only 32,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide. That is equal to around 8 to 10,000 of diesel cars per year, whatever it produces in India. This is the statistics.
Okay, well,
32,000 metric
well
tons
researched viewers. I can't at this moment, of course, underwrite some of these statistics because I don't have them, and that's my limitation, not our viewers, but our viewers supplying us more information, more hard facts. Let's bounce this off our panel. Let me bring in Rahul Ishwar and also Vimlendu Jha and Devi Goenka. Rahul Ishwar, go ahead.
Yeah, Rahul Shivshankar, just two submissions. We have to strike a balance. We all, consider environment very important. Our culture says Mada Prithvi, Putroham Prithviyam. That means Mother Earth and environment, we make mother. But no, we all have to protect it. At the same point of time, cultural sensitivity, tradition, faith of centuries, they need to be respected too. Unfortunately, what happens with hardline environmentalists is that they are one-sided. They don't look at the cultural sensitivities of the people. They want colorless Holi, they want waterless and milkless Shivratri, they want crackerless Diwali, they want bullless Jallikattu. So everything that is connecting to the dharmic faith, the culture of India, the Hindu faith is demeaned, and we are shown statistics and accounting, all the things that is against. So that's
very unfortunate. We respect environment, and it's up to great people like Dr. Bagai, who we all respect, to guide us to celebrate in a good way. See, we are common people. We are open to doctors. We are open to scientists.
Okay.
Guide us to celebrate in a good way. Don't take away our rights. Tell us how to have a specified time for crackers.
Okay, so you're saying
place for crackers.
that certain rationalists, certain environmentalists, certain members of the scientific community are assaulting culture. Now, let me bring this in. Vimlendu Jha, what do you make of this?
I don't think this is attack on culture. Culture and Hinduism is not that, not that sensitive that, when people are talking about the right of a child, right to breath, right to life, you think your faith and my faith will actually get shaken. Please, our faith is stronger than this. Deepawali or Diwali was always historically a festival of lights. It was never a festival of sodium and nitrogen and potassium and mercury and pollution. Please understand that, Can I finish? Can I finish? I think, Rahul, for last 20 minutes, you've allowed them to speak. Please,
yes,
please.
Let me speak. No one is stopping you, sir. Go ahead.
What we're talking about, there are different causes of pollution. There are different causes of pollution, no doubt. You and I have done hundreds of shows on various other causes of pollution, and I have vehemently actually fought to combat pollution on other fronts. But when our scientific community, when our WHO, when our doctors, and more than anything else, by the way, the reason why Supreme Court put a ban on firecrackers is because 3 children, those so-called joy to a child that Sadhguru is actually talking about, it were 3 children who actually went to the court and said, oh, well, we don't want firecrackers. Rahul, you've lived in Delhi. Ask your children. I'm sure Lung Care Foundation says every third child has asthma. When you have asthma, when the doctor on this panel says the situation becomes very bad, when WHO says that the air quality index on the night of Diwali becomes 20%, you are a joke, Mohandas Pai. Can you shut up and let me talk, please?
Okay, let's not get personal, please. Let's not get abusive, please. That's not right. That's not right. Vimlendu Jha, you were going well.
Finish. Let me talk.
I know, but let me have told him.
Got my time.
But you can't call people a joke.
Let him not intervene.
please, you can't
so
call.
tell him,
We are all
put his fader
passionate
down.
people here. Okay.
No, he's been saying a joke. No, you are doing selective hearing then.
Okay.
He said a joke. You
Look
go
at
back
the
and hear this.
fundamentalists, Rahul. These are all
He said it's a
fundamentalists.
joke.
Okay, but he's
so let
not
me
saying
finish
that you are a joke.
So now fundamentalist, jihadi.
He's not saying you're a joke, sir. He's not saying you're a joke.
So anyway, so can I finish now? Can you put his fader down? Can I make a point?
No, make your point, but let's not get
I'm
personal.
sure I've been on your shows 100 times because you believe in my environmentalism.
I understand that, sir. That's why we have you here.
He called me a fundamentalist right now. Did you ask him to keep quiet?
That's because you hit him below the belt. So obviously it's a free for all.
Do you call me?
I can't look. Please, let's not reduce this to a ill-tempered, rancorous.
It's not a question of faith.
Okay.
Absolutely, Rahul.
Okay, it's not a question of faith.
It's not rancorous.
You're saying that
scientific, and I'm sure you've done hundreds of shows.
Okay.
You've done hundreds of shows on environment.
So let me bring in. Okay, since Mohandas Pai is
between a great festival.
Okay. So there is no assault on culture. Mohandas Pai, that's what Vimlendu Jha is saying tonight.
Rahul,
yes.
Rahul, children of 2 years, 3 years, do they have the gravitas to go to court and hire the most expensive lawyers to go to Supreme Court and say their health is impaired? Come on, give me a break. These are all motivated people doing it. So Rahul, this panel, I would like to respect Dr. Bagai.
The judges are stupid.
He's a doctor, he sees patients. No, that's motivated, please. Rahul, I would like to respect Dr. Bagai's views because he's a doctor, he sees the impact of all this, and to suggest, let us have a policy. If the pollution level in any part of the country is above a certain level, we will bring 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is stop all vehicles, stop all petrol bunks, stop all crackers and reduce the pollution, stop the burning of agricultural residue and take a series of steps, including crackers. Second, in areas where there is no pollution above a certain level, allow them to have the green crackers. Third, make sure that to set standards for crackers so it is not so polluting using chemicals which should be used. Now, it's true that people are using unnecessary chemicals. They should not be used. Let us set new standards and let us come out with new norms so that people can burst crackers.
Okay, new norms. Devi Goenka, quick response. I want to open this up to our viewers also. Shubhrashtra also wants to make a point. And of course, Guru Prakash Paswan, national spokesperson of the BJP, will ask him, why are governments failing to control pollution, creating a debate of this nature? Had pollution been in the good category or the moderate category, we would have had a cracker-fueled Diwali. Unfortunately, that is not the case.
Let me begin by saying,
yes.
Rahul, let me begin by saying that there are multiple sources of pollution.
Sure.
Vehicular, industrial, burning of fires, etc. are there, as you projected quite rightly at the beginning. But the question is, do you want to add more fuel to the fire? When the situation is already very bad, do you want to make it worse? And I also want to add to what Dr. Bagai said. In addition to the chemicals he mentioned, there are a number of heavy metals, barium, arsenic, mercury, etc., which are extremely toxic, extremely carcinogenic. And once they get into your bloodstream, they're there forever. You can't remove them from your body. And mercury, for example, will add up cumulatively into your body. And beyond a certain stage, it will start killing you. So the question is, do we want to actually continue with something that we know is wrong, or do we want to try and improve things? Now, there is this myth also about green crackers. I don't think green crackers are really green. It's just a label that has been put on them. And in Bombay, we have found that a lot of the crackers that have been labeled as green are actually fake crackers with wrong barcodes, etc. put on them. And of course, if we do want to have a celebration of firecrackers, then let us do what you're saying is happening in New York. They have one public display of firecrackers at an open space, and every citizen is welcome to go there and watch that display.
Okay.
It is done by a team of scientific people. It is safe. People don't get burnt. People don't get killed when lighting fires. The hospitals don't get overburdened with injuries and deaths. So that's the way to go if you really want to insist on having a firecracker display.
Okay, before I bring in Shubhrashtra, we've got more of our valued viewers who are calling in viewers, and I want to go straight across to Mahesh, who's calling in from Texas tonight. Mahesh, go ahead. Your point of view, sir. Good evening.
Good evening or good morning. Thank you, Shiv. Actually, I really am really appalled, and I'm really worried with this kind of views coming out. Diwali has been a festival. It is a symbol of the oldest civilization's culture, heritage, a lot of people's sentiment, and both, not only religious, but the scientific reasons why do we celebrate these festivals and why do we have specialty on each festival. And I am very, 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 openly sharing this, that there is an agenda going around, and a lot of people, just to fulfill, their leftist feelings, the other countries are destroying the Indian culture.
Okay.
And that's why they're coming.
So it's an attack on culture, says Mahesh, calling in from Texas. Well, some of our environmentalists are not having the impact that they were hoping to have. Switch opinion. That's not quite happening as we are live on this particular show, viewers. Unlike other channels that have gone on record mode, we are still live here at Times Now, and we are with you. Jeevan calling in from Bengaluru. Jeevan, go ahead, sir.
No, I am from Bombay.
Sorry, Bombay. Yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Mumbai.
I'm Kamlesh Aga from Bombay.
Yes, okay.
Sir, I have to tell you one thing, that there is a saying in Sanskrit that parabdeshe pandityam. As the earlier speaker said, there is some agenda going on. 200 special chartered planes meeting in UK just to, talk about environment and say that my SUV should not be, my SUV is polluting this thing. The head of the government at Delhi state, is spending more money than on advertisement than anything for the control of pollution. Even before Diwali, the Delhi environment is worst. Nobody has a guts to tell the farmers not to burn this thing. The farmers want money for that.
Well, we'll ask the BJP representative on the show on that particular issue. It's an important one. It's an important one. Are we being selective here? That's the question, and I'll come to that. 1 minute. Let me go across to Venkatesh calling in from Bengaluru. Mr. Venkatesh, good evening. Go ahead. Yeah. Happy Diwali to you. Yes, sir.
Happy Diwali to the panelists. See, I'm really very upset in regards to the fact that there is a collective set of individuals who are intentionally trying to derail only certain set of festivals. Okay. There is a COP26 going on now, wherein it is clearly said that 14% of the global warming or the pollution that is happening is because of cutting of meats. Do any of the panelists have the guts to come up and start saying that during Eid you don't cut any of the animals? They will not say that. Half of the individuals sitting over here are for vote bank politics, nothing else other than that.
Okay.
Right? For 3 days,
well, some of these people who are raising these issues are not politicians. Dr. Bagai is not a politician. Vimlendu Jha is an environmentalist. Devi Goenka is an environment. I don't know. I mean, if they have a disclosure to make, they can, but I'm not aware of any of them having political views. But I get the point you're making. Selective crackdowns, not acceptable to a large number of our viewers. I don't know what it is about the debate that is obviously making people angry. Mr. Goenka, I'm coming out to you. We're just going across to Sampath and then Shubhrashtra and Guru Prakash Paswan. Sampath calling in from Mumbai. Go ahead, sir.
From Chennai, chartered accountant from Chennai. Good evening to all of you.
Okay.
I entirely support Sadhguru for his nice advice that children can be exempted, number one. And as earlier speaker said, stubble burning, which is the biggest polluter, then 14% from other areas, and then leather tanneries, and meat, which cause huge pollution. Nobody has got the guts. In the name of pseudo-secularism, they support that. It is nothing but politicking that's going on.
Okay, politicking, no one has the guts. People are being selective. Ajit Nair also calling in from Mumbai. Thank you, sir. Thank you for those views. Ajit Nair, go ahead, sir. Good evening.
There is a tradition in Deepawali wherein it is believed that your ancestors' souls come down to earth. And these firecrackers or these the lit up skies help them to retrace their way back to the heaven.
Okay.
This is a tradition that is mentioned in Indian culture. And that is the reason why we burst crackers.
Okay.
So,
Vishwajit calling in from Patna. Last but not least, let me then open this up to our panelists also. Mr. Vishwajit, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Happy Diwali.
To you
I'd
too.
like to suggest Mr. Kejriwal, when he started career with politics,
he used to use public vehicles. Now he should put the example, and he should try to reduce the pollution, which he is not doing right now.
Okay, well, look, different points of views coming in on the same question, selectiveness. So I want to bring in Shubhrashtra as well as Guru Prakash Paswan. First to you, Mr. Paswan. Look, we may not be having this conversation. We may not have, enraged viewers calling in and saying that there's been an assault on one particular tradition. Had we done a better job, you done a better job, state government's done a better job of curbing pollution. We've had a lot of very platitudinous statements made and some very specious solutions thrown at it. But the main issues are unresolved. Could you explain, Guru Prakash Paswan, why?
Rahul ji, happy Diwali to you, to all the other panelists and all the guests who logged in for your this very effective conversation on this very relevant issue. We must understand one thing, and like a lot of other issues, probably our government, we are committed, and we recently saw in Glasgow as well, be it the leadership of International Solar Alliance, be it the leadership with Britain on one nation, one sun, one world, one sun. So at all the level, at domestic level and at the global level, the Prime Minister of India, he is vigilant, he is sensitive, and you would soon see some tangible outcome of it. Okay. But what we are missing here, and like a lot of your viewers also pointed out, it is a contest. It is a contest between a silent majority and a vocal minority. So what we see on Twitter, on social media, it's the narrative created by this vocal minority, but in reality, they don't matter. I saw viewers from Patna, from Bangalore, from Bombay, they're coming out in large numbers and they're supporting the statement of Jaggi Vasudev Sadhguru ji, and its data. IIT Kanpur did a study in 2016 that 58% of air pollution is contributed by vehicular pollution.
Yeah, I understand all of that, but there has been little work that has gone into it. No, there's been little work, and that is where I am upset. I'm actually upset that 10 years after this pollution problem was detected, we still don't actually have a fix in place. We have a lot of people saying a lot of things, but no quick fix. No attempt at trying to restore our environment to the point it was. Now, I know it's not easy. And let's not kid ourselves. Cesses are charged, etc., but it's not easy. I understand that. But I wish there was at least an incremental move in cleaning up our air. That's also not happening. Let me bring in Shubhrashtra one. Shubhrashtra, there were points made by the environmentalists. Mr. Vimlendu Jha made some point. Devi Goenka made some points. How do you respond to them?
Rahul, you have been hosting such a fantastic show tonight. I think the only need is to democratize this discussion. This discussion needs to be dragged out from Delhi and Bombay. It really needs to be taken to places like Shillong, to Patna, to, far-flung corners of Mithilanchal. I'm sure Vimlendu Jha comes from that area. Let me tell him that even today, farmers have been using gandhak, which is sulfur, to take away all kinds of insects and crop repellents, etc. They've been using for such a long time. To diss this entire ancient tradition by saying that, such things didn't exist, is a direct affront on a cultural legacy, an environmental legacy that we lay claim to. What is he talking? In Bhuj, in places like West Bengal, there have been competitions after competitions held between villages, to basically creative ways to make these crackers. I completely agree that most of the firecrackers that are lit today might have chemical components in them. But then we do not take India backwards by saying that, hum to karte hi nahi the ji, hamare yahan hota hi nahi tha, ye bas aaj ka fad hai. Please understand, we need to move our heads from beyond what is happening. In Delhi is going to be polluted, Rahul. Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, these places are going to be polluted because we are selfish individuals who do not want to compromise on our iPhones, on our iWatches, but we want to give all the gyan to all other community people from all other different parts of India and how to celebrate Deepawali. Let me also tell you one final point, Rahul. There is this rallying cry out on social media by environmentalists and blah, blah, blah as to how to celebrate a festival. But the rural India doesn't come out in votes to say that this is how we are going to celebrate our festivals. And rural India for sure does not need any schooling in environmental activism by any of those people sitting in Bombay and Delhi. Let them go hit the ground. I urge them to come to Northeast India. Please explore the beauty here. People do celebrate Deepawali and there is no pollution at all in those places.
Okay, well, look, I mean, this is not a discussion that can be resolved in 40 minutes, viewers. You can have diverse opinions and you can hear them and you can pick and choose. The resolution will take years, unfortunately, as we struggle through this phase where we are developing faster than we can breathe. And that's the problem. But while we do so, we also need to ensure that development doesn't have a deleterious impact on our health. That's the challenge. That's the challenge. Quick fix, you know, odd, even, ban crackers, this is not going to help the fight. We need to get to the fundamentals. And we need to make that pledge from today. Each one of you can play a part and be a change agent. I leave it at this. I'm coming right back, viewers. Big news for all of you. We're going to tell you by how much at various pumps in the capitals of this country your fuel is going to cost. Don't go away.